Welcome to this shorts on leading the transition. I've been speaking to a lot of leaders who are in the field of leading the transition to the new. So this is aimed at you specifically. And for those of you who may not be there yet, that's also fine. These tips will help you in terms of really starting to orient yourself in terms of everything that's going on and how you can actually contribute. One of the things that I've been hearing is it's a bit like a place of really wondering where to position ourselves as leaders of the new. And this is specifically if you're working in some shape or form and you're working in some form of business. And the dilemma that's happening is we want to have a positive impact. We want to be drawing people towards impact in terms of the services that we offer. But at the moment, we're seeing a lot of people, especially because of what's going on right now in terms of the energy crisis, the food issues. What's happening is people are wanting to find security. So they're going back to have traditional investments and traditional ways of doing things. So this is particularly acute in, for example, the investment arena, where we need to go towards is offering investments and funds relating to what I call the new world. So impact funds or green funds, etc. And we need to get people to be investing in those because that will mean that we'll have a redirection of the money into that specific area. And also as we transition, ultimately there will be more security there because that is the area that is going to need to grow in the future. But that's not where people are at right now. They want to find security in terms of the things that have traditionally been shown to give security. So, oil and gas, defense, and ultimately, those things that look as if they're going to be fine, right? Now, the reality is those are the traditional things that have been fine, but it doesn't mean it's going to be the things from the future. But if you are, so I'm using the banking sector just as one example, but it's the same in business, right? In terms of if you have a business and you want to be selling products that are more sustainable, but maybe they'll cost more. And at the same time, there's the kind of the products that people have used in the past that they know better and that they see as more affordable. So those could be another dilemma. So it's almost like this leading the transition is full of dilemmas. And often we end up in this belief that we have to choose between the two. And so this is what I want to address in this short, in that it's okay to have our bread and butter that is based on certain things. But what we want to do is we don't want to be stuck there. Because our jobs in business is actually to start educating people. And we can use our marketing to do that. We want to educate people as thought leaders around the next level of products, which will be more in that new world, in the sustainability world, in the regenerative world, in the green world, whatever it is that is integrated in that piece. And so, because what I'm hearing from people is, well, I really want to do some of that new stuff, but, I don't see how people will buy it right now, so I'm just sticking to the old. And so ultimately, they're just not making any shift. Or at least they're definitely not going to be leading the way on that. And so they're waiting for somebody else to lead the way on that. And what we actually need to be doing is, yes, we want to be, doing something that's going to keep the cash going. But at the same time, we want to be incubating those other aspects, even if at this point in time we don't know who's going to buy them or whether we're going to have anybody buy them and whether they're going to be sellable. And because what happens is how we do this is that the problem is that we tend to see when we're looking at the new products as, okay, we want it automatically straight away to replace the bread and butter by selling mass to everybody and all our clients. But that's just not how new products work. That's just not how new adoption works. What we want to do is we want to create the innovation, we want to attract the early adopters, and then over time it will become mass. But if we're never spending enough time incubating the new, then there's nothing for the early adopters to adopt. And so what we're actually just doing is staying stuck in the status quo. And the thing is, the other piece that's really interesting here is that more innovative piece can be part of our thought leadership. It can be part of the stuff that actually makes us interesting. And even if straight away it doesn't attract the mass to buying that specific product, it means that we start to change our reputation, our positioning. People see us as a more interesting company with new ideas, potential disruptor. And so we're building that reputation, and we're educating the market around why disruption is necessary and what it's going to take to make that transition. Now, if you think about what I'm doing is, I could just stay and just do my bread and butter of traditional leadership development and wait for somebody else to come along and talk about leading the transition, pretending that we could just do what we've always done and that's going to be fine. And the reality is it's not. So what I'm doing is I'm making these shorts, I'm making these videos to educate about how it's going to need to look different. And later on, in other programs, I help people actually develop those skills. But that's what we have to do in terms of transformative businesses. We don't just stay here stuck in the status quo, hoping that magically at some point our consumer base, our customer base, our clients are going to come to us and say, oh, can you give me the thing over there that I've never thought of and that is super disruptive and super great and super new. And, that's just not going to happen. That is our job as leaders, to be able to create that, to incubate that, and to build that transformation in our communication with our customers to help them see how they can orient in this new reality that we are creating for them. So the old bread and butter and that innovative, pioneering, disruptive outlook can be really integrated into that thought leadership, and they go hand in hand. And as a result, that's where this kind of idea of a transformative business actually comes from. So I wanted to share that because I was just seeing too much either I'm stuck here making my bread and butter, maintaining the status quo, and then magically I'm just waiting for suddenly my customer base to just be ready, but I'm not educating them. I'm not showing them how the future could look different. I'm not even incubating and thinking about, because actually, we're not here just putting some stuff together in 2 seconds. We need to incubate just completely new models. So that takes time. If we're not doing that right now, even if our customers were ready at some point in time, we would need another 2 or 3 years to actually come up with a product, right? So we need to be doing both so that we are leaders in the transition, not just reacting to ultimately customer need, which is not going to be able to find the solutions for itself, so they can't ask us for that. But what's happening is that customer group in any event, through the bigger events that are happening in terms of on the planet and in our lives generally, they're getting more aware, and they're going to be more and more wanting these different things. And we need to keep guiding them to see that, yes, we can do this. Yes, look, we've created this new stuff. And yes, it's normal to be nervous around it, but let me tell you more about that, because that's my thought leadership. That is me being that leader in terms of times of transition. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know in the comments what comes for you, what resonates in terms of what I've just shared in this short